Hello everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm here to make another Angle Trifold, and this is one I've been wanting to try to make for a while, and I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I'm going to try to make it work. I'll be using as my cover papers, these are papers from Authentique's Mister collection. So I'll be using this on the inside and this on the outside. And the templates I'm going to kind of be using are my medium base 1 and medium base 2. The only difference is for for this medium base, I will be, well, then I'll be using my medium mats 1 and 2. But for the rectangular base, I am going to, it is 7 inches tall, so I am going to cut this piece of cardstock down to 7 inches. Right now I'm just making my base pieces. But instead of 3 inches wide, I'm going to make this 4.5 inches wide. And then I'll want 3.5 for each of my angular pieces. I don't think that one's quite wide enough. No. Put that over there. Actually, why don't I do this? That way I'm not losing as much of this piece of cardstock. So cut that to 3.5, put that over here, so I can use it for something else, and cut that to 7 inches. Okay. Now, and you'll see, now that I've been using the templates for a while, I don't use them as much anymore. I've kind of started straying away. Now I'm going to score that at 3 inches and score this one at 3 inches. Okay, and that's all I need there. Finish those. Okay, now what I am going to use the angle base for is I'm going to line it up, and where'd my pencil go? Here it is. That way I get a good angle. Okay, that one will go that way. That one will go that way. All right. Got to be sure, still have to be sure I'm putting them the right direction. And all right, now, so I don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Now I'm going to pull out my other trimmer. And of course you can cut these by hand. I just tend to get a cleaner, straighter cut if I use my trimmer. So there's one angle. And get that lined up. Okay, and that one. All right. So now I'm done with that. So now I can just take and miter these corners a bit. Okay. So then by having my rectangle piece be longer, and I know it's difficult to see, my side pieces, my angled pieces, do not go to the side, all the way over to the other side, which is what I want for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down, and I'm going to cover the insides and the outsides, and then I will come back and move on to the next part. Okay, I got my outsides covered and my insides covered. And now what I've got, the next thing I want to do is I want to make a little bow tie that will go up here. So, and as you can see, this is very masculine, which is what I'm going for. So, and actually the bow tie was something Maddie had brought up when she was talking about these Angle Trifolds, but as far as I know, she had not tried it, and I love the idea, so I wanted to give it a shot. Okay. Now, I've only made one of these, and that was after I Googled how to make a bow tie, and stuff came up for no-sew bow ties, which is great by me. Now, they were using hot glue. I'm going to be using Fabri-Tac. And I've only done this once, so this may be a bomb. But I took a piece of fabric that is about 3 inches wide, and I didn't even measure how long it was. It is about 8 3/4 inches long, although I'll be trimming some of that off. Then I just folded and ironed it so that on the back side, the two edges meet and overlap slightly. So, I am going to put some Fabri-Tac down on that edge. And Fabri-Tac down on this edge. And fold them over. Then I want to figure out, I'll be folding this around so that they meet in the middle, but I need to figure out, that looks like a decent enough size. Okay, just how big I want my bow tie to be. So, I'm going to, I want them to overlap, but I don't want a lot of bulk. So, okay, I like that size. I'm going to play with this for a second. I want the back one to be about at the center. And this one I can bring around and it can be the flap that I cut. All right, that ought to work. I'm not going to be too fussy about it, but I am going to trim off a little bit of this excess. Okay, now I'm going to put some Fabri-Tac down here. Scoot that up so you can see what I'm trying to do. Like that. Okay, then I'm actually going to put the Fabri-Tac on its side so won't take as long. Then I'm going to gather it roughly in the middle. So I'm bringing the two edges forward. I'm making a bump in the center and bringing the two edges forward. And I want to be sure that it's as close to center as I can make it. It's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. All right. Then I'm going to drop a little bit of Fabri-Tac here. To hold that down. Drop a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the other side to hold the other side down. Trying not to make a huge mess with my Fabri-Tac. And then I'm going to flip it over to the other side where I've bumped that center up and created the fold there. I'm going to put just a little bit of Fabri-Tac in there just to help keep it all in one spot. And I'm going to clamp that for a second so that I don't have to sit there and hold it, and I'm going to let that dry. Now, while that one's drying, I've got another piece of fabric that is about 1.5 inches wide, and again, I've folded it over, and so I have a much narrower piece, and I'm going to, and this piece is far too long, but I'm just going to glue that down a bit just to help hold it. And I'm going to let that one sit and dry for just a moment. And while that's drying, I've got this piece of fabric, and this is just an old piece of flour sack, and I cut it to match my angles and added 3 buttons to it. I did distress around it a bit, and I want to glue that down. So, and I didn't do any fancy sewing. You can see I carried my strings on my buttons. And I have some, what's it called, interfacing on the underside of the fabric so that hopefully my Fabri-Tac will not bleed through. And I could probably use my glitter glue on this, but I've already got the Fabri-Tac out and going, so boy, my Fabri-Tac is needing some serious work. All right. So now, if I can grab the edge, I want to put that right on the edge. So now our angle trifold is beginning to look a little more like a men's shirt. I like that. I'm going to do some burnishing on this. I'm not going to burnish it too much because I really don't want the Fabri-Tac to squeeze out, but I want to be sure everything is held down. Okay, so I like that. Now let's see how our little bow tie thingy is doing. It seems to be holding. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip my bow tie over on the bottom side. I'm going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the end of my smaller piece on the back side of it. Glue that, and I'm going to hold it for just a second. I think I'll wrap my centerpiece around a couple of times. And I'm going to trim this off. Oh, sorry, that's my pump. It's probably griping at me because my blood sugar's a little lower than it would like for it to be. Although I did just eat something, so. All right. Fabri-Tac mess. Get it pulled up before it becomes permanent. I give that a little spread. Not a perfect bow tie, but I think the one I made last night was actually a little better. But now, let's see if I can scoot this down a little bit before it becomes set. All right, so I need some more practice at this, but now what I'm gonna do, I want to put a piece of scrap paper under there, and what I want to do is I want to add some more Fabri-Tac to the back of my bow tie. And glue it down right there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now I can put that back. I just needed to see the whole thing. Still not entirely happy with my bow tie. I think I should have made it a little, not longer, but a little wider. But that's okay. I like that. I think that's cute. Now, the only other thing I want to do with this is I don't know what I'm going to do with the insides yet. I had no plan for that at all. I just wanted to get this part done. But I do want to make a closure for it. But right at this moment, I have no idea what I'm going to... Well, that's not true. I've got kind of an idea, but I have no idea how I'm going to implement the idea that I have. So, that's what I wanted to show you for today. And in my next video, I will show you how I finished this up. So, that's it for now, and until next time, I wish you all a wonderfully happy, crafty day, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.